Hello, everyone, and welcome to our regular event for the lecture. Thank you for joining us today. This is the best time for you to get to know all the necessary information about US universities admission process. And during the next hour, you will have a chance to listen to the useful tips. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate and write down them in our chat in Education USA YouTube channel and, of course, Facebook, American House, Kiev, Lviv, and Odessa Facebook. One of the criteria for US university selection is the location. And when working on your university research, you may be interested in a specific region or state where you want to study because you find it more suitable for your education or for your career goals, for example. So this time we will be discussing studying in New York, and I'm happy to introduce our guest Aziz, graduate admission advisor of Brooklyn College, who will be sharing the insights about pursuing your degree and being a student in New York. Thank you, Abdul, for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Oksana, for helping coordinate this. We've been working on this for over 2 months now. Very excited to be here today to discuss opportunities in the USA education programs. I've been working at Brooklyn College for 3 years now, one of my favorite places as far as my professional journey. Really enjoyed it. I'm going today in this presentation. I'm going to give you insight about Brooklyn College, both undergrad and grad, the process, what you're going to need, and we'll take questions and concerns at the end of the presentation. Okay. So Brooklyn College in general, I don't know if you guys ever been to New York or not. I hope you guys can make it to New York soon, and when all of this is over. And I pray for Ukraine every single day that things get better, right? But in New York City, CUNY system is consisted of 11 campuses. As you can see, Staten Island has their own campus. Brooklyn College is right over here, 10-15 minutes away from JFK. And then we have campuses in the city, CUNY Hunter, BMCC, and then you have CUNY City College. You have the Queens College here, Bronx Community College, and then LaGuardia Community College. There are 7 senior colleges and then junior colleges, which just consisted of 2-year degrees. Why Brooklyn College? Obviously, you guys could do your own research, but over 2.8 million in scholarships, awards, travels, and grants and scholarships and fellowships were awarded to Brooklyn College students. In 2019 and 20, we were rated as one of the top 4-year institution by Forbes, U.S. News, and World Report. A lot of our faculty members have won the MacArthur Pulitzer, Grammy Award, and Emmy Award faculty members. 97% of our students have reported their Brooklyn College degree has helped them be prepared for their careers. We do offer over 125 undergraduate programs, over 75 graduate programs consisted of, at Brooklyn College, 17,800 students from 143 nations speaking 92 different languages. This is one of my favorite things about being able to work at Brooklyn College, is having the opportunity to work with a diverse group of students. I really feel like home. So I'm also an international student from Bangladesh, and it makes it makes a very enjoyable process to have learning with people that think like you, share, but also have beliefs and share different opinions. In a little hindsight, this is what Brooklyn College looks like in the spring. Very beautiful. Spring, a lot of trees and all of that. When you guys do come on campus, would be more than happy to give you guys a campus tour and have you see what we offer. And as far as campus life, we are located in Brooklyn, New York, Flatbush Avenue, 10-15 minutes away from Berkeley Center. That's the new Brooklyn Nets Stadium downtown. Everything is being renovated. Over 150 clubs and organizations are available to all students. Activities, excursion, opportunities to socialize on campus, off campus. We have international students clubs and organization. Our student international student services office actually does a great job to make sure all of our students are feeling comfortable and confident in getting their degree. Um, Opportunities to form your own clubs and organizations are also available here. Develop your leadership skills and skills to formulate your career paths. Highly encourage joining Magna Career Center. Amazing people that will help you map out your career and help you to get that opportunity, the dream job that you've always been wanting. We do have Division 3 sports internship opportunities at Fortune 500 companies available, and study abroad opportunities in Europe, Caribbean, all around the world is also available to Brooklyn College students, right? So the world is yours when you come down to the campus. Highly encourage you to take advantage of it. And if you have any questions or concerns, there's always people that can help you to enhance your campus and student life. As far as Brooklyn College academics, Brooklyn College has 80 undergrad majors program divided amongst the 5 schools, and same thing goes for the graduate program as well. We have the Murray Copeland School of Business, School of Education, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, and School of Natural Behavior and Sciences, School of Visual Media and Performing Arts. All this consists of amazing programs that will help you to get your career and academics started. Brooklyn College does also have pre-professional tracks. Those are pre-health profession and pre-law profession. There's a specific requirement and application process that you're going to have to go through. Pre-health profession, which means you would do some time at Brooklyn College and then transition then to somewhere like SUNY Downstate or another institution to get your medical degree and all the extra education that you needed. Bachelor of Fine Arts are offered in music, art, theater, and creative writing. And then you have the honors program. The Macaulay Honors in the USA has their own specific application process. They have their own specific requirements, and they're ideally looking for the top tier, top of the top of the class type of students, right? So very difficult to get into, but nonetheless, I still encourage you guys to try it as well. Coordinated BA and MD program, as we were discussing about the pre-health profession, and then coordinated pre-engineering program, and then we have the scholars program. Tons of opportunities for students to get the best program they possibly need and enhance their academics. The MD program is more than 40 years old and selects students who are not only academically strong but also exhibit interest in many areas such as science, arts, sports, music, government, student newspaper research, and community services. Our program has an advantage of permitting students choose any major and encourage them to major in humanities and social sciences. So ideally, through this track, we're not saying that you only have to be a biology major or a chemistry major or a science major. We're saying you could be an arts major, you could be a liberal arts major, you could be a business major, you could be an English teaching major, and still go through this track. It just means that you as a student need to do extra work to make sure that you are doing both work for your regular major and also simultaneously you are doing the work for the medical track as well. You're going to take your MCAT, you're going to prepare just like regular student, and then you're going to go off to med school. We do have partnership with SUNY Downstate College of Medicine. So that's where we send a lot of our students because it's the whole pathway from Brooklyn College to SUNY Downstate. As far as freshman application, the CUNY application is done through the CUNY website. It's a $65 non-refundable application fee. What they will require is submit official copies of transcript. SAT is not required, but recommended. There's 2 times to take the SAT. Um, uh, and then it's going to be from your math and reading. And then you also can take the ACT in 25 in English or math is the required score. The TOEFL and IELTS are required for all international students. Ideally, we're looking for 6.1 or 6 for uh, freshmen and incoming students. And then we do have a transfer application process as well. It's also done on the CUNY application or CUNY application portal. $70 non-refundable fee. Take in college level courses in math and receive grade C or better. And deadline to apply is February 1st and September 15th. I If you want to know more about the undergrad process, I'm more than happy to connect you with one of my colleagues that can help you out with that. I'm more so your graduate admissions guy, the people that are done with their bachelor's degree and want to pursue their master's degree at the USA, right? That's what my office handles primarily. More than happy to connect you with anybody else to answer the undergrad questions, right? So at the graduate level, similar to undergrad, it is consisted of five different schools. The Maury Copeland School of Business is AACSB Accelerated, which means they are recognized by top tier firms and organizations as somebody that's accelerating in business. In New York, it's Columbia, Baruch, and Brooklyn College, three campuses that have that acceleration. And we do offer programs in accounting, CPA certified, business administration, accounting, business administration, business intelligence, data analysis, general business, economic analysis, and global business, right? Great program. I just recently finished my degree in global business with the Murray School of Copeland Business. Amazing program. If you have more questions or concerns, I'm more than happy to chat about that as well. And then you have School of Education. Our grad programs does produce amazing amount of teacher. We do have good connections with nearby schools and things like that, where you're able to get your service hours and you're able to become an amazing teacher. We do offer programs from birth to grade 2, 1 through 6, 5 through 9, 7 through 12. We have special education for students with disabilities. We have school counseling. We have school psychologist program, education leadership as well. And then School of Humanities is consisted of speech language pathology, creative writing, history, French, international affairs, autism spectrum and disorder. And then your School of Visual and Media Arts, actually one of our most popular program, or our MFA program. We are directly coordinating with Steinhardt Studio. We do have a totally separate campus for MFA programs where our students are taking classes over there. We offer programs in art, media scoring, music composition, music global and jazz, music performance, musicology, media studies, theater, and film. And then your School of Natural Behavior Sciences have programs with computer science, health informatics, information systems, community health education, nutrition, exercise, sports science. Exercise and sports science doesn't exist anymore. Sports management, earth and environmental science, right? All great programs. Campus resources that are available to you and all students. I always encourage every student to take advantage of the Magner Career Center. There are people that's whose job is to help you find jobs, internships, be career ready. Um, I used to, when I was an undergrad student, I used to go there once every month. Sometimes I had things to say, discuss. Sometimes I didn't. That was okay. As long as they knew who I was, and ultimately when I graduated, or even every summer, I never had difficulty finding internships or summer jobs and being career ready. And then we have a library cafe that offers 24/7 computer lab access and features group study rooms, more than 100 computers. Once you're on campus, I don't suggest that you stay there 24 hours. But however, if you have a project, a paper, you need to stay on campus, we're all welcome. There's going to be a lot of people there as well. There's snacks, and so the campus is located in a very nice neighborhood where there's a lot of food options nearby, so that you can always get your food and be comfortable in the library and get your work done. You have access to student clubs and organization that offers tons of opportunities for you to connect with other students. Um, and the Learning Center offers students tutoring and writing resources. If you are someone that whose English isn't very good, whose writing isn't very good, this is a great place for you to go and get the service. When I first went to college, I thought I was good, right? I went through high school here and I thought I was good. I go to college and I was super shocked because the academia was so much different. So I used to spend an hour every Friday with my Learning Center mentor to make sure that I am getting all my things done and I'm also up to par to be successful. And you have the personal counseling office on campus. Highly encourage you, definitely go just to reach out to them if you're having difficulties, and if you need any assistance, those are people that can help you with your personal challenges. I always say you're the most important piece in this puzzle. You taking care of yourself, you making sure that your health is good is going to make my job easier, but it's also going to make your journey much more enjoyable. And then you have access to the health clinic, offers evaluation from treatment, mental health, and like common condition, GY care, laboratory testing. If you need to get some of this tests done on campus, is totally accessible to you. We do have a recreation facility, Olympic sized pool. I don't know if you guys watch Law and Order. This is a TV show in the USA. And yesterday, Ice T, who's a very famous actor, was filming on campus in the Olympic sized pool. That was very nice to see. We do have tennis courts, fitness center, basketball courts, and racquetball courts, all available to you. We do have some grants and fellowships that are available to you, such as Petri Emergency Grant, to help you take care of your short-term needs, so that you can focus on your education and academics. We do have a Center for Students Disability and Services that's going to provide amazing service to you. If you need additional time on test, if you need a different space for an exam, you just communicate with the Office of Disability Services, us, and your professor, and we'll get you that accommodation going. And social service and case managers are there to help you take care of your uh, personal challenges. And again, it's you need to be able to feeling welcome. You want to, if you are someone that wants the resources, there are tons of people that's going to help you out. Don't be nervous. It's okay to not to know everything. That's why we're here. All these people are here that can assist you more. And then employment and OPT. Those are also great questions for our International Student Services Office. But off-campus work authorization for F1 students who are currently pursuing their degree program at Brooklyn College and have completed at least 1 year. Employment must be related to students' field of study and can be paid or unpaid. Typically issued for internships or short-term employment opportunities authorized by Brooklyn College International and Scholar Services Office, right? So OPT is available to students, but it's just that you're going to have to communicate with us and then make sure that it's career and academic related. Right, the I-20 process needs to be completed for all international students services. If we wanted to break this down, ideally you're looking at having $45,167 being spent per year. That includes things like books and supplies of, let's say, 1,800, and then transportation 1,500, personal expenses. Housing and tuition are your biggest fees, which is 18,540, and then 14,000, and then along with lunch, food, and personal expenses, right? Do you have to spend all of this money, that $45,000? No. I'm sure if you are cautious about your spending, how you're where you're spending, you could eliminate this by like another $6,000-7,000. So that's the end of my presentation about Brooklyn College. If you do have any questions or concerns, you can always reach out to us via email, or via phone, or email me. I'll put my email address. Aksan also has my email address as well. More than happy to set up individual times, one-on-one. We could chat via Zoom to understand your personal stories and challenges, and how Brooklyn College can assist you more. That's it for my presentation.
Thank you so much, Aziz. So, of course, we have some questions to discuss with you, and thank you for such wonderful presentation. So, you mentioned that you have some partners among universities, like mostly in the United States. Could you tell us more about your partnership with other institutions, and do you have any partners in other countries, like maybe in Europe or somewhere else?
So when we say partnership in the CUNY system, all the CUNY campuses are very closely aligned together. So if you were taking a class at Brooklyn College, but you also wanted to take a course at, let's say, City College, that's right next to the Central Park, right? Because you want to take a walk after class and whatnot. All of those things are available, right? The partnerships are very strong. Every campus allows students to participate in the courses, facilities, curriculums, and all of that. They work very well together. Outside of that, I mean, we do work with other organization. Education US is a very good organization that we work with and support. And then the SUNY University, SUNY system is the State University of New York, where like, I don't want to say we don't have partnership, but we can certainly work together closely to make sure the transition for a student that wants to transfer from Brooklyn College and then go down to, let's say, SUNY Buffalo, right? So that would be an easier transition because both of them are public institution. Unfortunately, Oksana, we don't have any good partnership in Europe, but our students do study abroad in Europe and all countries, and they bring in partnerships, and but it's not like guaranteed. Yeah, here you go. But more so just like working partnership that students have developed over time.
Okay, thank you so much. So have you heard about such like program which is called COIL? It's like
Coil?
collaboration, yes, collaboration between universities. So I can say like for surely that Education USA Ukraine is like part of this program, and this program helps our Ukrainian universities find partners in United States. And after that, they can their students, like we have one teacher from US university and one teacher from Ukrainian university. So their students like form groups and they work together on one project. And what is like the most interesting about this program, that those teachers and universities might be completely different. So for example, it might be like some chemical or biological faculty in United States, and it might be English literature and English language faculty in Ukraine. So they just cooperate and they create this project all together. I mean, students, yeah, and like communicate, share some culture tips, tradition, so on. So it's very nice. And if you haven't heard, or if you are interested, of course, I can share some details with you. So maybe you will have a chance to take part in this as well.
Certainly. Yeah, send me the information. I'm also gonna look it up on my own too. That sounds amazing.
Okay, thank you so much. You also mentioned about such program, which is called pre-professional program.
Uh-huh.
So could you please tell a bit more about this program and like how much time do this program takes usually, and why, like any pros and cons about this program?
So the pre-health professional program is consisted of students who know that they want to get into the medical field, but don't necessarily, let's say, also have the grades as well, right? Just like as regular students. So they sort of go through an orthodox pathway and apply to that path and work towards, let's say, being into the nursing school or being into the medical school. So the track actually just narrows it down. Hey, these are the courses that you're going to have to take, these are the connections that you're going to have to make, and this is how you're going to do. The pros, I believe, is that it's a way for you to get into one of your dream schools, right? If you are not confident in your MCAT scores, if you're not confident in your undergrad GPA, this program does make it a little bit easier for you to go into those track. And the con, I guess, really will be, it's a lot of work. It's an extra amount of work that you're going to have to do. But again, you're just going around the regular pathway where people apply to the medical and the professional tracks. And then pre-health profession, you're kind of just going with the guidance, right? And I think that's a beautiful thing because it allows students to slow back, take a few steps back, and go at their own pace. In the USA, the medical process can be very anxious. I have two sisters that are just became doctors, and I've seen them sweat, cry like almost every day. So it, to me, it's a little bit more relaxing, the pre professional tracks.
Okay, so any specific requirements for this program? For example, I'm a student and I would like to take this program. So how
I
should I
could
look
get
like?
I could send you the requirements via email. Would that be okay? I'll send you all of those informations to you.
Yeah, sure. I think we can share all these requirements with our viewers,
Mhm.
of course, if they're interested after this session. Okay,
And
but
it's
could you
also,
please like
sorry,
briefly describe, yes, like these requirements?
sorry to cut you off, but it's also an undergrad track, right? So it's made for college freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. I'm also more than happy to connect you with one of our undergrad admissions advisors as well, Oksana, so that they could maybe set up a time and then discuss about this whole track and then give you more in-depth information.
Okay, thank you so much. So next question I would like to ask you, and I'm sure like our viewers will be interested as well. So you mentioned that you have a lot of activities on campus for your students. So what activities are the most popular among the students? I mean, like sport, maybe like theater or something else.
There are tons of extracurriculars and clubs and organizations for students. Students can even make their own clubs and organizations if they really wanted to, right? Um, to I think the most popular ones would be the athletics. Students really do take pride in the college athletics. Brooklyn College just won, like, I think the softball and the basketball championship last year and the last couple of years. So very energetic student body of group. We have we have tennis courts. That's amazing. Like, I see people at 7 o'clock playing tennis and at 5 p.m. playing tennis. So all day around. Basketball is a very popular sport in the USA, so I guess a lot of student does do that. But my personal favorite is the Olympic size pool. Amazing pool. Amazing space. After a workout, you just get into the pool and then you just relax a little bit. There are tons of clubs and organizations for students, international students specifically, right? So there's the Ukrainian groups on campus. We actually have that on campus. We have the Bengali student groups, the Asian student groups. So it's very diverse. The student body, you'd be surprised. It was one of my favorite things. Is I know it's not extracurricular, but seeing people get so well together and gel well together make that's why Brooklyn College works, is because of their student body, and all this curriculum just makes it ice on the top.
Okay, thank you so much. So could you please tell us more about the work which is available for your students, like for example on campus, or maybe they can assist some professors and so on?
So I'm not sure if international students directly qualify for work study, right? Work study is ideally made for in the USA. They fill out a form called FAFSA, and FAFSA they allow them to do work study, which is like 10 to 20 hours, assisting professors or assisting in an office, with all of their daily tasks and things like that. But opportunities are still available for international students as well. When I first joined my office, we had international students uh, as our TAs that assisted us with all of our office works and things like that. And then they can also participate in the department's require needs and requirements. So if let's say a department needs as a student worker, you communicate with the department and they would coordinate and help you finding that position. Um, but as far as the OPT requirements, it has to be related to their careers or their field. Otherwise, they won't get approved on campus. Unfortunately, the opportunities, jobs, and things like that, you're going to have to coordinate with their Office of International Student Services. Then they have special process for you to get through the opportunities. But opportunities are available for all students to work as a part-time student on campus for the offices or for professors.
Okay, so it's clear now. And if, for example, a student has scholarship, is it still available for him or for her to have some additional job or some assistantship? And the second question about this is, could you please tell more about all those scholarships which you propose to students, especially for international students?
So a student on a scholarship, can they come and apply for opportunities and jobs? Certainly, yes, right? So they'll just have to communicate with the right offices. They just have to see I always say, as an international student, it's okay not to know. So that's why you have offices like me, offices like International Student Service, that's going to steer you the right way. But then my fear is, if you don't know, then you don't seek for the answer, that's when it's troubling, right? I want you to be curious. I want you to go ask the questions. There's no question as dumb questions. It might sound dumb to me because I've heard it over and over, but I'm not going to tell you that, right? It's okay. So communicating Office of Financial Aid, Office of Scholarship specifically, to make sure that there are more opportunities for you, and then you take advantage of that as well, right? So the one scholarship that I can think on top of my head is a Petri Emergency Grant, right? That's to elevate your simple situation. Let's say you're in the USA, and then you go for vacation to Vegas, and you lose your passport or wallet, and then you can't come back to New York for your classes. That's something this scholarship would work for. You apply, you would get it, would help you buy a ticket or whatnot, and then you come back to the States to deviate that situation. Other than that, we have an amazing Office of Scholarship on campus that offers students exceptional services to finding scholarships, to execute, and then getting the scholarships as well. I
Okay.
can I'll share the link for the Office of Scholarship with you as well, Oksana, so that you could share with students and anybody else that's interested.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Thank you so much. So you also mentioned like some steps, or like not steps, but tips for freshmen. Yeah, about especially I'm interested in those test scores which you mentioned. Could you please tell more information about like the requirement of SAT or ACT? Like what is the lowest rate of this um, like tests, yeah, and is it possible, for example, for international student to enter the university, enter your college without any test?
Um, so currently there is a big push to get rid of the SATs in the USA, but that hasn't been confirmed at Brooklyn College just yet, right? Um, for the freshmen, the SATs are for international students. I encourage you guys to take the SAT if you can. And then you're looking at a reading score or math of 500 and reading of 26 after the 2026, and ACT scores of 25 or higher. The, these scores does play a huge role in the campuses selecting your students for the right programs, right? So highly encourage you doing well. But there is maybe not CUNY, but there are definitely a lot of test optional campuses in the SUNY system, in the private system. So there are tons of campuses in the USA that don't require the SAT or make the SAT as an optional, so that students can enter and do well in their program. When I took the SATs, I didn't really do well either, but then I took it like 3 4 times, and I saw ultimately submitted my highest score to my undergraduate campus. But my undergraduate campus was a test optional campus, but I still did submit it just so I can have an advantage, right, over the student that didn't take it.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next question will be about transfer applicant then. So how is popular, like how much is it's popular among your students to be like transfer students? And again, like any specific requirements for this option?
We do get tons of transfer students. As I mentioned in the beginning, well, we have for a few senior colleges, and we have few junior colleges, which are the community colleges where you start for your associate's degree, and then you transfer over to your bachelor's degree, right? A lot of the students do get into this program because they maybe they didn't have the grades, they didn't have the SAT scores to make it to the senior campuses. So then they go through a process of going to 2 year school first, and then transferring over to Brooklyn College, John Jay, whatever campus that is, and then fulfills their bachelor's degree. We also get tons of international students trying to transfer over as well. Um, Undergrad has a transfer students process for international students, but we as grad don't. So that's something you're going to have to communicate with the Office of Undergrad Admissions. But the process is fairly simple. You're going to have to complete the CUNY application, submit official transcripts from your all your post-secondary schools. You should ask them. You should ask all um, college admissions officers advise when you guys are applying, are you guys requiring the international transcript evaluation process or not, right? The evaluation process allows them to read your transcript in English if it's from a different language, but it also indicates whether your degree is equivalent to a U.S. associate's degree, that's a 2 year, U.S. bachelor degree, that's a 4 year or US master's degree. That's different, right? And then you must have taken level English and math and received C or better grades, right? So ideally, they want to see your proficiency in those two classes to help you advance to other higher level classes. The deadline is February 1st and September 15th for the fall and spring. Does
Yes,
that answer
that's
your question?
okay. Yeah. So the follow-up question about transcripts. So like the situation in Ukraine right now, and we have many institutions like schools, secondary schools, which were destroyed completely, and it means that some students they don't have any access to their documents. So do you have like any options when, or maybe you had such situation before when students didn't have chance like or those transcripts official documents weren't available for them, so what could you recommend them to do in such case?
So you guys are in a very unique, tough situation, right? And I would say Brooklyn College would be willing to work with your students in accommodating those specific needs. I cannot speak for every institution in America, but ideally, campuses do have the option to say, listen, Oksana, you're applying, great. You don't have your official copies of your transcript due to the current situation. Why don't you submit your unofficial copies of your transcript, right? So we will accept the unofficial copies of the transcript and then use that as a evaluation process to move your application forward. Simultaneously, we will suggest and encourage you to get those right paperwork when you are able to, and when you are able to, you're going to submit it to us, and then we will update it and remove any holes that we put on your accounts. So it is doable. You just have to communicate, right? If there's a document, if you have like 75% of your paperwork and documents intact, but you don't have a couple of things officially, that's okay. That's when you communicate with the admissions officers and let them know the scenario. And we're all humans. End of the day, we do want to help everyone elevate. So I'm sure there will be people in every campus that's going to try to understand the situation.
Thank you so much. That's really valuable information for our students. I'm sure about that. So I would like to ask you also about employment of your students. So because, for example, in some universities in Ukraine, it's quite popular to have a kind of records of those students who are employed. So where do they work? What do they do? And after that, when, for example, if the university needs like to accreditate the program, they ask those students, like graduate students, to come and like tell about their program, maybe recommend to other students and so on. So what usually do you do with those students who graduated from your college, and like do you have like any records about them?
So, student that goes through the process and graduates from Brooklyn College, what do we do for them afterwards?
Yeah, so for example, I'm a student, so I studied at university at your college, yeah, and that's it. So it was my last year. Like any communication with me after that?
Yep, certainly. As I mentioned, we do have an amazing career service office. It's called the Magna Career Center, and they're gonna start working with you. I say senior year, but you as a amazing student, Oksana, I'm sure you're gonna go to the Magna Career Center when you're sophomore in college. You're gonna let them know, hi, I have 2 years of college left here in the USA. I want to get an internship this summer. I want to be career ready next summer, and I want to have a job by the time I graduate, right? So you're going to coordinate, you're going to communicate, and then they're going to, let's say, depends on you. You go to their office once a month, you work on your resume, you work on your cover letter, you find internships, you find a job. You're connecting with another student from Ukraine that also graduated from Brooklyn College and currently working at Chase Bank, for example, right? That's a student that Magna Career Center can help you communicate with, meet, and then do a networking event. And after you graduate, if you get a job, amazing. You're gonna buy me coffee. If you don't get a job, we'll continue to work with you, right? Magna, it's not to say that once you graduate, we close all doors for you. No, once you're a CUNY student, you're always a CUNY student. So you can always come back to campus. You can access the campus curriculum. You can access the campus facilities, and then ultimately just keep working with the Magna Careers and to that you find the right job, you find the right opportunities for you, and then voila, we'll take it from there.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much. So, the question about deadlines. Recently, I heard, actually found information that, of course, all universities and colleges they have deadlines, and it's better to submit your application as soon as possible, like before the deadline. But the issue was in that the student submitted the application on the last day of deadline. Like, for example, today is the last day, and I need it today, but the commission told that it's actually too late. So what situation with deadlines in your college?
So this might sound mean to you guys, but I always say try to submit your application before the deadline. The deadline has always been listed, right? So if you miss a deadline, it's like a personal challenge, personal issue. Prepare for the next year, next deadline. If you really want to go for the current semester and then you just miss the deadline by a day, like in my office, if it was the situation, you would email me. I would look at your situation. I would look at the application, and I would communicate with the graduate deputies. And if the graduate deputies want to admit you as a late applicant, I'm very happy for you. I'm more than happy to process that, but cannot control that. If the graduate deputy does say, no, Aziz, we cannot accept this student because the student has submitted it late. At the undergraduate level, unfortunately, they are deadline based. If you miss a deadline, they probably wouldn't want to look at it unless you again communicate with them and then they try to understand your situation. But ultimately, don't miss the deadline.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much. So the next question I would like to ask, this is the question about financing the education, of course. And
Hmm.
you mentioned I-20 process. So
Hmm.
could you please clarify a bit, because you mentioned about like some budget, yes, which is might be um, suitable for a bachelor degree or for a master's degree. And you also mentioned some prices or like some like budget for books and supplies and so on. It's actually in totally it's pretty high amount of money. So is it possible to for your students to cover some parts of this, like not using scholarships, but like in some other way?
I do understand it being a lot, but you'd be very surprised. Our tuition, I'm just gonna drop names. So I went to a liberal arts school, Franklin Marshall. My tuition per year was $60,000, and that was me being an in-state resident. The reason for you guys paying a little bit higher is because you guys are paying out-of-state tuition, which is 855 per credit for your degree. And then the most expensive thing here is housing. Unfortunately, New York City is expensive. It's a very expensive city to live in, and 18,000. I want to say is also on a very generous number side, right? It can be a little bit higher, it can be a little bit lower. If it was up to me, I would make education free for everybody in the world, right? But that's just me. But because it's not
Yeah.
up to me, it's up to the state. We are gonna have to um, follow and apply to it. So the books and supplies is a rough estimate of $1,800. If you find your like me, when I was doing my degree, I used to go to the library and find the books so that I wouldn't have to buy them. And I rented out 3 times throughout the semester because they only allow you to borrow for 1 month. So you extend your loan, right? So then you don't have to do that. So if you're someone that does those extra researches and finds those books, then you're saving, for example, like let's say $1,000 in books, right? Transportation, metro cards cost I think 120 per month. And if you're not using the Met MTA, still 120, right? And you don't have to buy the, let's say Oksana, you're like, no, I'm 20 minutes away from the campus. I want to bike to campus instead of taking the train or taking the cab. You save yourself $1,000 just by biking to campus. Personal expenses, if you are a student, can it be $3,000? Maybe you go to Vegas every week. Maybe you go to California, like wherever your heart desires. Those personal expenses are on you. The more you travel, the more you spend, the higher the expenses are be. But as a student, I think most people are cautious. They're like, listen, I have to budget myself. I have to do it this way. So I'm never worried about the personal expenses unless you're like, oh my God, I have to spend, right? And then housing is $18,540. That can be either more or less, right? So let's say you find roommates. You find four roommates and you guys are all splitting. Let's say the rent is $2,000. You guys are all splitting it by $500 each, right? That does make this number so much less by the end of the year versus you getting your own place and paying like that rent is so expensive. One bedroom is like $1,600 to $1,700 in the USA. So just to be cautious on that. Food, you guys should start learning to cook. Being your own chef, personal chef is amazing. I highly encourage it because food is also expensive, and with the way things are going, everything is just getting more expensive and more expensive. So if you buy your food at home and you spend, that number goes down a little bit less. And then the lunch, if you're making your food, you're buying your food, then you're not spending outside money on lunch, then you're saving some money there. And then you're paying tuition money, which is set and fixed, right? So that's the only thing that's going to be fixed versus everything else. So can this $45,000 be less in spending? Yes. But when you are applying, they need to see that $45,000 or more in your bank account, or somebody sponsoring needs to show, hey, we have the money to sponsor. Because if you as a student, you say, listen, I like everything about Brooklyn College, I love everything you guys are doing, I'm going to come to America. Great, they let you come to America and you're studying. But if you cannot afford all of this, and if you're risk of being in a situation that you didn't anticipate, and we don't want you to be in a situation like that, right? So that's why we need to make sure that the funds are there, so that you can go get your degree and your education comfortably in peace, so that you don't have to worry about all the other things. Simultaneously, you can also get a job that can help you make some extra money to help you cover some of these expenses as well.
Great, thank you so much. The next question I would like to ask you about your campus resources, because you have like actually a great list of different activities and different centers. But I'm interested in like Manager Career Center. It looks very nice. And how much is popular among your students? So do they often use this?
Magna Career Center is amazing. We do have we do I think there's like 6 to 8 full-time people that's there ready to help the students. Students go there all the time to get career advice for internship jobs. Very popular among the students services. Very nice people. I encourage you guys, go check them out. They're very nice people that can help you. uh, the idea here with the Magna Career Center is that the more visits that you have, the more impact that you can have for your future. By that I mean is that the more conversation that they have about your career, the more information, the more resources that they can give you. They can help you network with the people and the right people that can help you to find the right jobs and opportunities. Ultimately, I say Magna Career Center should be one of your favorite peoples on campus, because they ultimately know a lot of people that graduated from the campus, maybe in your major or outside of your major, or maybe in your interest field, right? But ultimately, they are the ones that can help you find the right opportunities easier.
That's wonderful. Your students are very lucky, actually. So, and what about personal counseling? So, I know that's like actually different source of information, but who are those people who counsel students and
So
help them to with stress or with some other stuff?
these are professional licensed people that are on campus to help students deviate their personal challenges. Right? If somebody's having, um, I visited them when I was in undergrad, and I'll tell you my personal story. I went to college. I'm a first generation college student, right? So nobody in my family went to college before me. Go to college, great culture shock, amazing, great food, great people, but I wasn't doing well academically, and I was very depressed. I was starting to doubt myself, starting to doubt my skills. So I went to the counseling services, and we just talked, and all we did was really just I just like told them about my problems, right? Not to expecting a solution, but when you talk about things, it gets easier. And talking to the right people that have knowledge about situation. Because one thing I realized after graduate that I wasn't the only one dealing with this kind of challenges. I'm not alone during this through this process, through this journey. So these professionals have seen and assisted students to elevate their situation and help them get into a better situation, or in general just give them ideas on how they can help manage their time, for example, how they can manage their stress, or they give little ideas, good ideas, and they're effective ideas, right? So if you're having some issues, some problems, feel free to go talk to them, because they they're not going to go tell another person. They can't go tell another person, so it's between you and them.
Yeah, that's nice idea to have such a center. And what about learning center? So, is it the place where your students also can like volunteer and assist other students with some studying?
Yeah, so the learning center is also a great place. That's actually a job, so you're not going to be volunteering. So if you are someone that gets it, you'd be helping student and you'd be getting paid. But there are tons of volunteering opportunities on campus. Like if you wanted to ask your professor, "Hey, professor, can I volunteer in your department? Maybe grade some papers, maybe do extracurricular." That counts as volunteering. Magna Career Center can certainly help you set volunteering hours. For example, if you want to be a teacher, you want to go volunteer at school, shadow a teacher after school. Those would be great volunteering options. And Magna Career Center can help you. Your graduate deputies can certainly help you. But joining student clubs and organizations will certainly be impactful to get these extra knowledges and volunteering experiences.
Okay, wonderful. So actually another way to get a job at your college, yeah, like this. Okay, so you also mentioned about a lot of resources like health clinic and recreation facility, and I'm just wondering about those recreation facility. Are they free or do students need to pay some fees for this?
Nothing in the USA is free, Oksana. Nothing. I'm sorry. It's okay. Let me trace that back. It's free for a student because you already paid them, right? But there is a small student activities fees. If you look back to it, roughly around maybe $500 of student activities fees, consolidation fees, and technology fees. So those are all part of your tuition package that you ultimately pay at the beginning, and then you don't have to pay them monthly payments or nothing like that. You get an ID, and then you walk in, and then you enjoy your workouts, you enjoy your pool time, you enjoy tennis ball, racquetball, and all those amenities are all free as a student, but not really free.
Okay, thank you so much. And the question about students with disability, and I would like to ask you how much is your college developed for those students and how much access do they have to all the facilities?
Oh, that's very important because we want to provide equal access to all of our students, and Center for Student Disability does amazing job in making sure the students with disability gets the right amount of time, right space. But again, it's up to the student. If you are someone that needs the extra time, extra need, you're going to have to communicate with the department. You're going to have to communicate with the Center for Student Disability Services, and they will accommodate you 100% of the 100% of the time. They will accommodate our students that needs any accommodation. But sometimes they will require paperwork, such as from doctor notes, and if all you have everything intact, it's, we will acknowledge it.
Thank you so much. We have some questions from our viewers, and I would like to read the question from Alla Shorina from Facebook page. She asks several questions, so I will start with how old should a student to be start studying, and how much does training cost? So these are two first, and also other entrance exams. It seems to be we talked partly about that. And please give a contact email for questions. Thank you. So of course we will share your email, but could you please assist with those questions?
Amazing, yes. How old should the students be? Ideally, like for the bat in the USA, for students that are going into their bachelor's degree, they are either just turning 18, or will be turning 18, right? And by the time you finish your bachelor degree, you're ideally just about to be 21, or you are 21. And then after that, for the masters, there's no age cap, age limit, right? It all becomes down to your success in academia and what degree and credential that you have created to get to the next stage, such as master's, PhD, and so on. How much does training cost? There is no specific cost for training. This is a journey, and then you learn as you go. But the cost, I guess, as we talked about the I-120 process, that's the bigger cost, is that being able to be financially ready, financially responsible, so that you can go through the process in ease. Are there entrance exam? Yes. So we talked about IELTS and TOEFL as a language entrance exam for all international students, SATs and ACTs for undergrad students, right? And then you have the GRE for the education programs, which is not required at Brooklyn College. You have the MCAT for accounting program to be CPA certified. And then you have GMAT to be CPA certified, and then you have the MCAT to be a doctor preparation. Does that answer your question?
One second, please. Oksana is reconnecting at the moment.
No problem.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Sorry for these technical troubles. Thank you for your answer to the question. And I would like to ask one more question about your presentations, and I think we can finish at this point. Of course, if our viewers will have more questions, I will share email of your college and your personally. And I would like also to mention that you shared the Google form about Brooklyn College. So could you please briefly tell about this Google form? And after that, I will also send this form to our viewers at the end of the presentation.
Amazing. So the Google form that I have created is very simple. It's a way for us to send you more information in the near future for Brooklyn College. It will allow us to understand where you are at your career at this point, academic career. So in the interview, simple question: your first name, last name, your education, and expected entry term. And if you have any additional questions or concerns, you could also put it on that form, and then we can certainly touch base, right? I encourage you guys to put your email addresses so that you continue to receive communications from us. One thing I forgot to mention this to you, Oksana, earlier, is that we are also hosting our open house, which is going to be virtual. So everything I've mentioned over here, all of our graduate activities are actually going to be there. And this is happening all through the month of October. I'm more than happy to share the link with you, Oksana, so that you can share with everyone so that they can attend the virtual open houses. It'll be conducted via Zoom. And every department that I went through is going to be hosting their program, so that if you have program specific questions, such as I took this course back in 1999, but I want to see if that course is going to count towards my master's degree right now. I cannot answer the question. That'd be something the graduate deputy would be able to give more insights and see if it would be possible as well.
That's great. Thank you for so much information and so many resources and so many links. I'm sure that our students will be interested in all those information. And I would like to thank you one more time for joining us today, for being with us during this Thursday lecture. And I would like to thank you, our viewers, for watching us today. And if you have any questions about our presentations, you can contact us at EducationUSA Facebook page or Instagram account. Thanks, everyone, and see you next Thursday.